Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. We're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here and look at what's going on. We got $2 trillion market cap, Bitcoin sitting at 41,600, Ethereum sitting at 3,100, Binance Coin sitting at 468, Tether's Tether, Cardano sitting at $1.35, Solana sitting at 135, XRP sitting at 73 cents. We're down in XRP, Terra sitting at 79.79. Polkadot sitting at 24, and so on. There's a lot of red in the market. If we come over here and check out the fear and greed index, we're still currently sitting at a 24. So as you can see, we've been in the extreme fear and fear range for some time now. So what I wanted to jump into was this tweet thread that Johnny Deaton had posted that I thought was pretty powerful and thought was very informative of kind of where we stand right now. So Johnny Deaton said, Eleanor Terrett and I were discussing the judge's rulings today because, as usual, her and Charles Gasparino seem to be the only journalists recognizing the magnitude of this case on the overall digital asset space. I reread the decision, and here are my final takeaways. The June 13, 2018 legal memorandum regarding whether XRP is a security conducted by the SEC legal staff is privileged and will not be turned over. But the judge noted that the legal staff members who wrote this analysis did not present a recommendation to the SEC. This findings is very significant. This means that after the SEC's legal analysis, as of June 13, 2018, they did not recommend bringing an enforcement action against Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson regarding the XRP as a security. The judge also noted that this June 13, 2018 date is before the SEC opened the formal investigation of Ripple and before Brad Garlinghouse met with Clayton and Hinman. But this too is very significant because when Clayton and Hinman met Garlinghouse months after the memo was written, Garlinghouse spoke out and said Ripple is living in purgatory regarding XRP's status. Neither Hinman nor Clayton responded by informing him XRP was a security. So keep that in mind. Being objective, this memo likely said we need more information before we can make a recommendation one way or the other regarding XRP. But I find it significant that as of June 13, 2018, the SEC legal team did not believe it was clear-cut case that XRP was or is a security. Otherwise, I would have recommended an enforcement action at a minimum. It supports what I've said from the beginning, and that is, if the SEC truly believed XRP was a security, it would have sought an injunction to stop Ripple and Jed McCaleb's ongoing sales. So that's like one of the big topics now is just like, okay, well, if it really was a securities, then why are you still allowing the current sales? Why is Jed McCaleb making billions still if it's truly a security? So coming out here, he's referencing his a tweet that he had posted. It says, if the SEC truly believes today's XRP itself is a security, why didn't it seek an injunction to prevent Ripple from ongoing sales? Ripple can literally sell XRP today to help pay for attorney fees and incurs in fighting the SEC in this case. So coming down here, he continues. The biggest victory for Ripple and XRP holders from Judge Netburn's recent decision isn't necessarily email with the draft version of the Hinman speech. The most significant victory could prove to be the notes from meetings with third parties not associated with Ripple. What do you think the third parties are? On December 13, 2017, Ethereum Joseph Lubin and Consensus met with Hinman and others. We know the venture capital working group headed by Perkins Coie, a member of the EEA, hired by A16Z, met on March 28, 2018. Lubin met with the SEC again on June 8, 2018. So our past video, we covered Consensus and connection to William Hinman and the venture capital working group, them gathering the so-called industry players and kind of getting them in the room to have a conversations while still leaving other industry players out, XRP, Ripple, and so on. So he continues, these notes are no doubt from the above meetings. Judge Netburn ruled the SEC can still invoke attorney-client privilege regarding the personal notes by Valerie Sapenic and others. But if the notes contain statements made by people at the meetings, it's not privilege. Was XRP brought up by anyone at the meetings? Did anyone try to distinguish Ether from XRP at these meetings? Was Ether brought up at all? And then BTC? I have no idea, but guess who's filing a new, this is a Freedom of Information Act request based on Judge Netburn's finding is not covered by DPP. So this Freedom of Information Act request that he said he's going to file came across this article right here that says the SEC can't shake off empowered oversight's questions about improper conduct in the SEC lawsuit. The case that is likely to be made in court in SEC v. Ripple lawsuit is that SEC official, namely ex-SEC Commissioner William Hinman, have given a leg up to Ethereum. Empower Oversight has appealed SEC's claim of non-responsive records on its Cryptocurrency Freedom of Information Act. So, yeah, FOIA, or however they say it. The nonprofit, nonpartisan educational organization dedicated to enhancing independent oversight of government and corporate wrongdoing has not let go of the case on assumptions of improper conduct by the SEC officials when filing the complaint against Ripple Labs. So, right here, we're just going to quickly read this paragraph. It says conflicts of interest. There have been conflicts of interest within cryptocurrency at the SEC, where some cryptocurrencies may have been prompted over others. To that effect, Empower Oversight seeks communications between SEC officials and their current and former employees aimed at the turbulent lawsuit against Ripple and its individual defendants. Empower Oversight has today filed an administrative appeal challenging the SEC claim that non-responsive records exist in several categories of the Freedom of Information Act request. In addition, the organization states that the SEC claimed that it conducted a thorough search of the SEC various system of records regarding conflicts of interest with cryptocurrencies is unsupported. The SEC failed to describe the scope of its searches. The nonprofit continued, adding the public cannot be assured that the SEC took reasonable steps to locate and produce responsive documents. Empower Oversight filed its first Freedom of Information Act request in August 2021. This led to the denial of a fee waiver, which was quickly appealed and overturned. The SEC ignored the request, and the organization filed a lawsuit to compel the SEC to comply with the Freedom of Information Act request. This litigation remains pending, and the SEC response is due February 11, 2022. So there's people out there in these organizations. You got Johnny Deaton that aren't letting this go. So they want to make sure that like they have Ripple and the community has everything they need to, to fight this battle to the end and make sure that there's a level playing field when it comes to Ripple v SEC, and then, Ether versus, or, so-called clarity in regards of, legal status within the crypto space, across the board, not just for one or two assets. So continuing with John Deaton's thread here, it says the final takeaway obviously is the email with Hinman's speech. It is an email sent to 63 people with a draft of the speech attached. The SEC claimed because Hinman was asking for feedback from other SEC staff that the email was privileged. What the judge found is very good for Ripple, but it has caused a lot of confusion for many XRP holders. The judge said the question of whether Hinman's speech reflected his own opinions and not the agency is settled. The judge cited Hinman's affidavit that the SEC had him sign, as well as multiple letter motions filed by the SEC that state the speech was not an SEC opinion or declaration, but only Hinman's personal opinion. The judge also relied on the affidavit, which states to date the SEC has not taken a position on Ether, which has caused a lot of concern within the Ethereum community. Chico Crypto had put out a video about it too, just like, okay, well, if Gary Gensler can't answer the question of whether, Ethereum is a security or not, that's causing a lot of stir and a lot of FUD within the market. So continuing here, it says, because both the SEC and Hinman stated his speech was only his opinion, the email is not privileged. We know this email was sent to 63 people. We know from Eleanor Terrett and Charles Gasparino reporting that Clayton was one of the people that provided input to Hinman. We know from the Hinman deposition that Hester Pierce did not get a copy of the draft. As a final interesting side note, although Hester Pierce did not get a copy of the draft speech, one of the note takers at one or more of the meetings was attorney Richard Gabbard. Who is he? He was counsel to SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce. So final here, he says, think about this conjuring for Hinman. The SEC threw you under the bus and had you sign an affidavit saying it was only your personal opinion. If it wasn't meant to be SEC guidance, then why did you graciously grant a regulatory free pass to Ether? And then he says maybe he'll tell Charles Gasparino. So I thought this thread was pretty powerful and just kind of updating on some kind of what's going on. But as you can see, like, things are kind of starting to almost in a sense, have a domino effect or compound on itself. So like, as, we gain access to, one document or one conversation or even just one piece of news or finding that helps Ripple's case, we find something else within the community, which is massive. And then you have, Johnny Deaton and his class action lawsuit growing. You got, these Empower Oversight organization that's coming up, stepping up, making sure that things are fair. This is massive. Digital Asset Investor have posted these two videos that, man, that I truly, like, I feel like this has like some truth to it. And I really wanted to show it to you guys. So check this out.
I've always assumed that Bitcoin was a prototype. The thing to understand about the central bankers and the group of people, not so much the central bankers, but the people who own them, is they are very disciplined about prototyping. When they want to try something new, they generate lots of different experiments. Because of the monetary policy, they ran the risks of inflation. So the question is, how can we suck a huge amount of money into non-real assets? They're accumulating land, they're accumulating gold after they came out of the financial crisis, and we're steadily moving money, I believe, out of the fixed income markets trying to buy up the real assets. So how do you keep the retail market away from competing with you to buy up the real assets? Well, if you can get them off in Bitcoin and the cryptos, you're just creating an asset out of thin air, right? Yes. I mean, it's energy expensive, but it's thin air. So it's much easier. It was extremely important to manage and manipulate the gold market because gold's like the smoke alarm, so you want to keep the smoke alarm from going off.
So here goes the part two to that video here.
If you can get everybody out of gold and into Bitcoin, it gives you a much more long ramp to sort of accumulate all the real assets without anybody figuring out.
And then what do you think they'll have it run up and then crash it, or just kind of let it run parallel?
So I think Bitcoin's been pumping and dumping, so think of it as in a bull market, you pump and dump your way up, because remember, the people transacting make the most money from volatility. Remember, if you're going to build your control system, then you need to build a system of central bank digital currencies. And you don't want to do that until you've had sufficient prototyping, but you've also made digital currency fashionable, okay? And to do that, I mean, you can go out and hire all the top developers in the world, but if you just persuade them they can make lots of money and be free if they do it themselves, and you make it very fun and innovative like the Wild West, they all jump in and they figure and prototype all these things for you. So it's the platform, then you build your central bank digital currency system, which now they're working on rolling out. Once you kind of gotten different aspects of the blockchain and the energy use figured out.
So that's just some food for thought there. I'm curious to see what you think of that video. Just hearing the whole, how do we, keep the day-to-day retail investors, like how do we make sure that we accumulate and kind of make sure that they kind of stay at their place of where they're at, based on, the research I've seen and kind of what's been going around, especially what's been going on in our industry in the crypto space. I mean, there has to be some truth to this. And quite honestly, what I'm going to show you here with Kevin Cage here, it goes directly into what I'm going to kind of tell you what's going on. So I'm going to read what Kevin says here. He says, "You won't get too far if you always worried about what other people think. They'll make assumptions regardless. Do you be happy, the rest will fall into place." So I thought this was super powerful in relation to kind of, what she's saying in this video here, because it's like, you'll have so many people that'll tell you, you're investing in crypto, or you're super speculative and you're gambling, and, you have, you're just wishing that you'd be rich, and you're not, smart about your money, your way. I mean, they'll tell you everything under the sun. When it comes to, investing in Ripple, if you're an accredited investor or you're just purchasing XRP and you've been accumulating this entire time and you have high conviction on it, you're going to hear that negativity, especially, with XRP being one of the most, hated cryptocurrencies within the entire space, and that's just how it's been, per history. But it's like, realize, based off of the research that we've been doing as a community, realize that, hey, there's facts. There's not all opinions, and it's not all speculation. There's some facts and truth to why we have high conviction. So just like what Kevin K says, like, if you have, fudders coming around telling you, you're investing into a losing coin. There was someone that told me that the other day, was, you're investing into a loser. You betted on the wrong horse. And it's just like, hey, thank you for your opinion, but, I have high conviction. And I believe that I'm in the right asset. Obviously, accumulating other assets is massive. That's what we do. But like, our largest holding is XRP. So just like he says, you know, you won't get too far if you're always worried about what other people think. You know, do you be happy and the rest will fall into place. So with that being said, this tweet by Utility FTW, I call it well substantiated speculation XRP. So this is just an image of a bunch of different companies, businesses, entities that either have some sort of, you know, shape or form when it comes to a relationship with XRP, Ripple, what did he say, RippleNet, and, you know, the XRPL direct links, whatever the case is. Like this, I mean, this is just the beginning. They're, even with the SEC v Ripple lawsuit going on, they're still out there hunting, you know, trying to gain partnerships, trying to expand this thing. This is just the beginning. Just like the crypto space in general, we're sitting at a $2 trillion market cap. We are so early to the party. This is just the beginning. So be happy, do you, the rest will fall into place. So I wanted to end the video with this tweet from Rule XRP. James Rule XRP says, what would you do for a $20 XRP? And I just thought it was, you know, a good food for thought, just to get a conversation rolling. But yeah, what would you do for a $20 XRP? I mean, is it already written to history for us? Is it something that's already planned for us? You know, do we see that, you know, this next so-called altcoin run or XRP run, are we going to see it hit this number? I'm curious to know what you think. But with all that being said, you know, have high convictions, you know, do your due diligence, research, and hold out there strong, okay? Do not let people fudge you out of you investing and accumulating into the crypto space. Never financial advice, but just never let anybody, you know, fudge you out of your bags, okay? Because they're accumulating. It's happening. Adoption is happening at a fast rate. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.